Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm talking about why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win Super 57 this season. This is the newest video in the series, and one of the last three videos I am doing for this series, talking about some of the biggest and baddest contenders for the Super Bowl this season, and some of the reasons why I think that they have a legitimate chance to not only do well in the playoffs, but to make and win the Super Bowl. So let's get right into it. First of all, this video I'm going to be talking about the defense first. Usually I start with the offense. On defense, the linebacking core is the core of this defense, although the secondary is also very strong. We got Devin White, Levante David, and Shaquille Barrett. And all these players, one of them's born and bred in the Tampa Bay, which is Devin White, and the other two have come from a couple different places, and they've all kind of come together. Levante David's late in his career, but he definitely had a second wind coming to Tampa. Shaquille Barrett definitely had his best years of his career in Tampa, and Devin White has really grown as a player from his rookie season, and all three of these guys working together have been phenomenal for this defense. It takes a lot of pressure off of the secondary with players like Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield, and Carlton Davis, who are all learning, who are all young players, and who all kind of need that extra support to get to where they need to get to, and they've been able to do that, and they've been able to allow those players to grow. They've also been able to take some of the pressure off of the defensive ends and the defensive linemen. Vita Vea is a big man, and he's come in and he's dominated the nose tackle position. So there's a lot of big factors about this defense that make it a phenomenal defense, not only for the regular season, but for the playoffs. And I think that it all starts with these three: Devin White, Levante David, and Shaquille Barrett. Multiple Pro Bowls between the three of them over the last few seasons, and I think that we're going to see more Pro Bowls and potentially some All-Pros in the next couple of years. Moving on, we have the fact that Leonard Fournette is still a top 10 running back in the league. I would even argue maybe even higher than 10th. Leonard Fournette started his career in Jacksonville in 2016 or 2017. He had a lot of injuries his first few years. They did make one playoff run while he was in Jacksonville. They made it to the AFC Championship game before losing to Tom Brady. And Leonard Fournette has had one of the most underwhelming careers for a running back for the talent that he had. And I think that a lot of people don't give him enough credit currently because of the injuries, because he didn't play a whole lot of games for a few years, and because he wasn't the starter when he came to Tampa. Him and Ronald Jones were sharing carries for a couple of seasons, but this year coming up, he's going to be the starting premier running back. Playoff Leonard Fournette is also a beast, and another reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win the Super Bowl is because of playoff Leonard Fournette. In Jacksonville, he played 3 playoff games. He had 242 yards in those 3 games for 4 touchdowns. He also caught the ball 7 times for 44 yards. And then in the Super Bowl run a couple of years ago, he had 4 games where he carried the ball 64 times for over 300 yards, 4.7 yards per attempt. He also had 18 catches for 48 yards, 5.5 yards per touch for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns in 4 games. And then last year, in the one playoff game that he was healthy for, 51 yards in that game, 4.9 yards per touch, 107 scrimmage yards, and 2 touchdowns. So the 5 games he's played with Tampa, he has 550 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's a phenomenal playoff performer. He's also a phenomenal regular season performer, and I think that a lot of people forget just how good he is because of his injuries, because of the number of games that he's played over the years. And I think that Leonard Fournette is really going to come alive during the regular season this year, not only from the receiving end of the running back position, but also from the rushing power back position. We also obviously have to talk about these wide receivers. Julio Jones obviously took the most interesting path to get to Tampa, but I want to talk about Chris Godwin and Mike Evans first. Mike Evans has spent his entire career in Tampa, and he hasn't always had the best quarterback until the past couple of seasons. He also has the record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start a career as a wide receiver with, I believe, 8 or 9. He's had 8 or 9 seasons in a row to start his career. He's never not had an 1,000-yard season in his career. One of them was on 1,006, but he did get 1,000. And the number of touchdowns the last couple of seasons has been phenomenal. Nobody's been able to match Mike Evans' receiving touchdowns the last couple of years, including players like Devontae Adams. Last year he had 14, the year before he had 13, so he had 27 touchdowns in the last 2 years. He's been in the league for 8 years. 8 years, he has 9,301 yards and 75 touchdowns in 8 years, averaging over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns a season. Chris Godwin, again, started in Tampa. He has 1 Pro Bowl compared to Mike Evans' 4 Pro Bowl selections, but both of them are Pro Bowl wide receivers nonetheless. He's had 2,000-yard seasons in his career, 1,333 in 2019 before Brady showed up, and 1,103 last year. Again, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of good productive yardage from Chris Godwin, and he's a very good Edelman-type receiver. He'll catch a lot of short stuff. He'll also catch some long balls, and he's a very consistent person to throw to. Brady had an 109 passer rating when targeting him last season, and an 132 passer rating when targeting him the season before, which is a phenomenal statistic. Now to Julio Jones. Julio Jones spent most of his career with the Atlanta Falcons. He was with the Titans for the last couple of seasons, getting injured, and then this season he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And injuries have plagued his career for the past 2 seasons, one with Atlanta, one with the Titans. But I think that this season, if he can stay healthy, he'll be a major asset to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He'll be like having Antonio Brown back, but not Antonio Brown. The game when Antonio Brown played, Tom Brady was almost undefeated on Tampa. They barely lost any games when Antonio Brown played, and they didn't lose any playoff games when Antonio Brown was on the field. They were 4-0 when Antonio Brown was on the field in the playoffs when Tom Brady was the quarterback. And I think that that's going to be a major impact that Julio Jones is going to have. He's going to be that veteran star, knows what to do, where to be, how to do it, when to do it, everything wide receiver for Tom Brady. And I think that it'll be very hard to stop Tom Brady when he has Julio Jones on the field along with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And obviously the key to all this is Tom Brady, the guy who's won 7 championships, more than any NFL team, almost as many playoff wins as anyone, the same number of playoff losses as Aaron Rodgers, although he has 3 times more wins. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, and any time that Tom Brady is on your team, you have a very strong chance to win the Super Bowl, including if you are the New York Jets. The fact that Tom Brady's defense has been able to stay so consistent the past few years is definitely conducive to success, because you can know what to expect from them, and then the job is just do your job. If you know what you can expect from your defense, you just need to do your job, make sure that you know what you're doing, and Tom Brady's the best at that. So, very excited to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season, although I don't root for them. Very interesting games. It's always fun to watch Tom. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoy this type of content. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.